Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So today I wanted to follow up our PvE DPS tier list video and cover professions from a tier list perspective. Obviously, professions are very subjective because every single one of them has a way to make gold, but some of them are much better than others, as well as we are assuming that you are going to be in a serious PvE environment, and meaning you are going to want one that is better than all the others, and that really limits what you can do with your other one. But before we get into the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Everything you guys do helps my channel grow, helps me get discovered, and helps me help as many people as possible, which is the entire point of my channel. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So I'm going to switch it right over here to the tier list, and we are going to dive right into this. So as you can see, this is the Canva page that we use our tier list for, and so we have broken it down into S, A, B, and C. I don't really see a point of having anything higher than that, but the very first one is going to be engineering. Engineering is the go-to S tier profession because it is the only one that actually gives you a rating advantage, and it provides tons more DPS as well as a ton of utility items, and it is the only one that truly directly significantly impacts your damage and your ability to deal. When 40 raiders all go into Molten Core and they all press their sapper, they are going to blow trash up insane. And while it has a 5-minute cooldown, you plan that around that, you pull big, and then everyone presses their sapper. So if you're in any high-end guild, they're going to mandate engineering, and it is just that good for that reason. The next one that everyone should have is going to be first aid, especially warriors, with warriors being the biggest one. One, it lets you process your cloth. Two, it'll make leveling a whole lot easier. And three, eventually you will need it to cleanse poisons and a few other things. There are just so many scenarios where first aid can save your life, and it is a secondary profession, which means you can always use first aid, and it is really, really strong. Now, you guys are probably going to yell at me for this one, and a little biased, but fishing. Fishing is S tier because for two reasons. One, it is a huge income provider. You can make so much gold even if you do not have the corresponding professions to make the gold on it. People are very well aware of alchemy and cooking and what they can use with those, and fishing is a huge powerhouse for those. On the cooking side, there isn't too many for it, and we'll definitely talk about cooking when we get there, but for alchemy, fishing powers alchemy, as well as fishing allows you just to get in-game crafting materials as well as greens and stuff, which you can. Every single person in the game can have a level 5 tune that sits in org and is their bank tune that is a disenchanter and can disenchant every single green you send it. So I have fishing in S tier. Fishing can supply you with all the gold you will ever need in the game. The only downside to fishing is going to be competition. To get those really good pools, there are only a select few amount of spots, and competition can be pretty high for them. I have covered fishing guides in Classic. I have covered fishing guides in SOD. All the spots are the same, so you can definitely check those out, and I'm sure I will remake them just for you guys here in Classic as well. Fishing also goes into TBC very nicely as well. Same with first aid, same with engineering. So if you invest in these, you're not going to waste your time with them. This is where we sort of get to the questionable setup. So like if you're a Abyss Raider, I would recommend these three for just any type of raiding, any character that you're trying hard on, because fishing will fund you, first aid will save your life, and engineering is a mandatory requirement. So the next ones that we are going to get into is going to be mining. So mining I am putting at S tier because if you aren't playing any other character, you're going to need mining to supply your engineering. It is just how it is going to work. Some people don't like to buy everything that way, and mining is a good way to make money as well, because engineering being the most popular profession, everyone is going to be using a lot of materials for mining. There are plenty of places to farm nodes. You can get a ton of gold just by being a mining engineer, as well as it unlocks a few farms. You can also literally sit there and just passively make bronze bars. You can buy copper and tin and have an account just sit there and make bronze bars, especially in the early phases, you'll make a ton of gold just being a bot making bronze bars. So you can literally just make a ton of gold just by doing that as well. So the next thing to go to is going to be the 3 crafting professions. So blacksmithing, leatherworking, and tailoring. These all actually have some unique bonuses with sets. The most apparent one of these is Bloodvine for tailors in ZG. It gives a set bonus if you are a tailor. Blacksmithing and leatherworking also have these, and so it can really be beneficial in those ways, but it is kind of super niche as well. You could even argue that blacksmithing and leatherworking are B tier. I've debated this a lot and kind of feel like they should be somewhere in between this, because one, blacksmithing for it to make any money, you have to get some of the uber tier professions, and blacksmithing takes a ton of investment and materials to get it up there. But if you are willing to put that time and that gold into it, and then you also get like Lionheart, Titanic leggings, those types of recipes, you will make an absolute fortune. But my advice would be, don't invest into it until you get the pattern. If you get the pattern, literally it's worth dropping whatever profession you have and turning that character into that if you cannot level another character as well. So those are just my thoughts on blacksmithing. Leatherworking is same. Tribal's really the only specialization that is worth a lot. Tribal gets most of the recipes. Anything else is super niche, and it makes it a little bit difficult to do it. However, leatherworking does bring with it a cooldown. So honestly, we're going to go with leatherworking A, and we're going to put blacksmithing at B, because leatherworking at least lets you have a salt shaker. Same with tailoring, you can have mooncloth making, so that passive income is there, and you'll be able to at the very least make passive income if you just have it there. You can also level alts to level 35 and have them sit in Silithus, which, as you know, I have covered extensively on SOD, and then they can make your salt and they can make your mooncloth, which will have much more value here on Season of Discovery opposed to what it had, in Era opposed to SOD, where SOD has a lot of modifiers, so you can make a ton more cloth. So I don't think they'll put those in, but time will definitely tell. Then the next one is going to be herb and alchemy. This is pretty good together. The problem is that there's a lot of competition for the herbs, and having an alchemist, there is profit margin in making the recipes. It's just the recipes that are really big and really huge investment. If you're going to go alchemy, I would highly recommend that you do it on an alt. I like to make my druid my urban elk because druids have the ability to stealth, and that unlocks a few new farms, as well as druids can be in travel form and pick herbs while they are leveling, and before you get your mount for them, because 100 gold at the launch is actually quite a lot. So you're not going to be mounted for a bit, and you can just kind of use your travel form until you have earned enough gold to buy your epic mount. So that is why I put urban elk at B tier. It takes a significant time investment, as well as it is really it doesn't bring anything to a raid. It doesn't bring any advantage for you. And then finally we have C tier cooking, and we're also going to put enchanting at C tier as well, and there are a few reasons why, and I'll definitely go into it. Cooking, every single character can have it, and really the only thing that need to be cooked are grilled squid and night fin snappers. That's really it. Everything else is kind of not too good, and run ton tubers, but those require being a stealth character in Dire Maul. Like, it's super niche to get those 3 foods, and while you can make some decent gold with it, it's just the time to get all those things and the time to do it just isn't really that good for profit, and tons of people are going to be doing it anyway. Cooking just kind of gets leveled up if you're leveling fishing. So if you just sit there and level fishing, you will get your cooking to max pretty much without having to spend any gold. So cooking you can just kind of have, and you kind of can get just by playing the game, especially when you're leveling 1 to 60 on a fresh server. Take cooking, cook all the meats you get. Your cooking will be toward max towards the end with very little effort put into it, especially if you go with fishing. Then we have enchanting. So the biggest problem with enchanting is, one, you need to get the huge enchants. It is a huge gold sink, because even if you disenchant every single green that you get leveling 1 to 60 and you put it into there, you're never gonna hit that mark that you need. I would do it early when people are still selling strange dust, vision dust, and early. If you go to 60 and then come back, it is going to be big it's going to cost a lot for those early game materials. So I would definitely level it as soon as possible if you want to go it. And then you also get gate kept by blacksmithing. You need to know a blacksmith that can make the rods with you, otherwise you're going to get gate kept there. And then at the end, if you go out and get all the recipes, which is no small feat, it'll take hours and hours and hours, especially if you go and farm them. And even if you're farming them solo, you might not get all of them. Some of the biggest ones that everyone wants is +4 stats to chest. That is a huge winner. I spent 1,000 gold in the first phase on Classic 2019, and it funded my entire game for the entire time I played 2019. I went into TPC with like 30k gold, and then I started doing the GDKB and just kind of didn't ever have to really farm gold again, because I was able to get +4 stats in that early phase gold. It cost a whole epic amount, but it was definitely worth it. And while that might be something that's super appealing, we don't know how the Uber recipes are going to be. In Season of Discovery, they cranked them up to drop a ton. I don't know if we're going to see those drop rates reflected in the 20th anniversary servers as well. We will have to see with all that. As well as enchanting on mega servers, there are so many people that do it because it is a good passive income, but nowadays they have bots and weak auras and so many things to instantly invite. So if you're not someone who's just going to AFK all day in the city, you're going to sit there and do it, and it's just like you have to have a ton of passive time to make enchanting work, and that is why I have it at C tier. And finally, we have skinning. So while skinning is super nice when you're first starting off on a fresh server and you can make decent gold just by skinning everything you are killing, I would not recommend it. You can literally get every hide other than Devil Sore with fishing. So you don't really need to have skinning for any in-game purposes too much. There's not much that takes all the hide, and skinning definitely falls off very, very quickly. The best thing for it is to level leatherworking, but I gotta put skinning at B tier. We're giving it B tier literally because of its ability to sort of help fund your mount early on just by getting all the leathers and hides and selling them. But the only in-game purpose for it really is farming Devil Sore, which on mega servers that we are going to see is going to be pretty difficult to make a huge profit with that. But anyway, sorry I forgot skinning there. I never really go skinners because I always prefer fishing to it. It is just simply better because it doesn't take your max level profession slot, and I know a lot more ways to make gold, so I don't really need to rely on just skinning for the little extra silver and gold that it gives you from 1 to 60. But anyway, guys, that is my full profession breakdown tier list. If you agree or disagree, definitely drop it down below. Once again, to emphasize, this is from a PvE rating perspective. It is not from a just raw gold making perspective. If it were, there would definitely be a lot of things that change. And keep in mind, there are like enchanting. Everyone can have a disenchanter that you can mail every green to. You literally can have your bank tune be leveled 5 and then just sit there in the city and do that with instant mail. It'll be even easier to just sort of send those mats and sell them pretty quickly. But anyway, I truly hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey you. Yes you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.